He was a man known for his wealth, power, and controversies, a name that could spark debates in seconds. But on one cold December evening, amidst the glittering chaos of Fifth Avenue, Donald Trump paused his high-stakes world for something unexpected. A homeless veteran, a cardboard sign, and a fleeting moment of eye contact would set off a chain of events no one could have predicted. What happened next would silence even his harshest critics and leave an entire city stunned. Sometime earlier, the cold December air bit at Donald Trump's face as he strode briskly down Fifth Avenue. The golden spires of the Trump Tower gleamed in the distance, reflecting the last rays of a fading winter sunset. The avenue buzzed with energy. Holiday lights blinked in sync with festive music. Shoppers carried oversized bags, and the distant hum of car horns punctuated the rhythm of the city. Donald was en route to the Grand Manhattan Ballroom for the annual Winter Philanthropy Gala, a glittering affair filled with New York's elite. Despite his outward confidence, his mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, most of them cynical. He knew the gala was more about appearances than genuine charity. As he turned a corner, something caught his eye. A man hunched against a lamppost, his frame barely visible under a threadbare military green coat. A cardboard sign rested against his knees. Christopher, he read. Veteran, hungry, cold, anything helps. Trump's steps slowed, his polished Italian leather shoes clicking softly against the icy pavement. The man's face was shadowed by a worn cap, but his posture radiated defeat. Memories of his late Uncle John, a decorated WI veteran, surfaced unbidden. John had once told him, "The country owes us nothing, but we owe each other everything." "Excuse me," Trump said, stepping closer. The man looked up slowly, revealing weathered features and piercing blue eyes dulled by hardship. "Yeah?" he replied hoarsely, his voice carrying the weight of exhaustion. "What's your name?" The man hesitated, his grip tightening around a stained coffee cup. "Jack Lawson," he answered, his tone guarded. Trump studied him for a moment. "You're a veteran?" Jack nodded. "Served in Afghanistan. Lost everything when I came back." Without another word, Trump turned to his assistant. "Get this man a hot coffee and something to eat," he instructed, his voice firm. They left the Trump residence. Jack's eyes widened slightly, though he remained silent. As Trump resumed his journey toward the gala, he glanced back briefly, catching Jack's skeptical gaze. Trump felt a tug of responsibility, a rare but unmistakable urge to do more. The Grand Manhattan Ballroom was a spectacle of opulence. Crystal chandeliers cast dazzling reflections across marble floors, and tables adorned with gold-trimmed linens showcased elaborate centerpieces. The air buzzed with the hum of wealthy chatter and the clinking of champagne flutes. Donald Trump entered the room with his usual bravado, his presence commanding attention. Cameras flashed, capturing his every move, while murmurs of admiration and envy rippled through the crowd. Yet Trump's mind was still on Jack. As he moved through the throng of donors and socialites, he caught sight of Randall Drake, a tech mogul known for his scathing critiques of Trump's public persona. Randall approached, his smirk as sharp as his tailored suit. "Donald," he drawled, extending a hand, "always a pleasure to see you, playing the philanthropist." Trump met his gaze evenly, his handshake firm. "Some of us prefer action to posturing, Randall." And the exchange drew a small audience, eager to witness the verbal sparring. Randall leaned in slightly, his tone dripping with mockery. "Action? You mean writing checks for photo apps? Very heroic." Trump felt his jaw tighten but kept his composure. "You'd be surprised what can happen when someone decides to show up," he replied coolly before turning away. As the evening wore on, Trump excused himself from the gala's hollow festivities. He made a series of quiet phone calls, arranging something far more impactful than any oversized donation check. When he was finished, there would only be the sound of laughter. Jack was dozing when the familiar sound of footsteps roused him. He blinked in disbelief as Trump approached, his assistant carrying a large envelope. The Tribune recounted Margot's progress during the day and the impact of Trump's execution. Jack was dozing when the troop. "What's this?" Jack asked, his voice wary. "Open it," Trump said simply, standing with his hands in his coat pockets. With trembling fingers, Jack tore the envelope open. Inside was a prepaid lease agreement for a modest studio apartment, along with a voucher for a job training program specializing in security work. A handwritten note fell into his lap. "God. Jack, everyone deserves a second chance. Make the most of it." Jack's throat tightened. "I don't understand. Why are you doing this?" Trump crouched down, his expression uncharacteristically soft. "Because someone like you doesn't belong on the streets. You've given enough. Let someone give back to you." For the first time in years, Jack felt the heavy weight of despair lift, replaced by something foreign and fragile. Hope. Trump returned to the gala just as Randall was delivering a pointed speech to a captivated audience. "Charity has become a farce," Randall declared, his voice laced with cynicism. "We pat ourselves on the back for writing checks, but do we ever really change lives?" Trump stepped forward, his voice cutting through the applause. "Change doesn't happen from speeches, Randall. It happens when we step out of our comfort zones." The room fell silent. Trump recounted his encounter with Jack, emphasizing the importance of personal action. "Jack Lawson is a man who fought for this country. He was left behind, but not tonight. Tonight, he has a home and a chance to rebuild his life because someone cared enough to act." The audience erupted into applause, and for once, Randall had no retort. Jack's new apartment was small but warm, with clean walls and a bed that felt like heaven compared to the pavement. Trump visited him the next morning, ensuring everything was in place. "This is your second chance," Trump said, shaking Jack's hand. "Don't waste it." Jack threw himself into the job training program, eventually landing a position as a security officer. His story spread, inspiring others to take action. Donations to veterans programs surged, and people began stepping forward to support their local homeless communities. Even Randall, begrudgingly moved by the events, launched a veterans hiring initiative within his company. Months later, Jack sent Trump a letter. "You didn't just give me a home, you gave me hope. I'll never forget it." Trump read the letter in his office, a rare smile crossing his face. He leaned back in his chair, murmuring, "Sometimes one small act can change everything."